I would be here, and I was planning to. I'd already planned it. $10,000 an hour. We're giving away $10,000 an hour. Somebody
it's still
has,
Joe's money, by the way.
Somebody has won the Power or the Mega Millions, which is, and I'm a little bothered at how that didn't the jackpot didn't go up. Last week it went up.
It was like stagnant at 1.6.
I almost think they wanted it to be $1 billion. Well, you could have made it $2 billion yesterday with all the people playing. How did it stay at $1.6 billion?
Well, so again, I think we're getting to a point where, for instance, the drawing was Tuesday last week, right? So by Wednesday morning, it went from 686 or whatever to they were already saying 850.
Yeah,
So I think some of what the lottery is a projection. And
I
then
understand
I made
that,
the point.
Every time there's a big drawing, if the turnout is huge, just before on the last day, it always is increased. My only question is, why not yesterday? Either way, there was a winner, and it's all over.
I told Jeff last night. What did I say? I didn't buy a ticket. I missed the chance to buy a ticket, and somebody was going to win.
That might have been it. Yeah, that might have been
so
it.
you're welcome, person in South Carolina.
Oh, I was going to ask where it was. It was South
Carolina. One ticket, from what we understand right now. One ticket. Now, it could be an office pool, and there were all sorts of stories out yesterday that if you get into an office pool, it does increase your chances because you can buy more tickets. However, it increases chances of trouble. Whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, but we may never know because South Carolina's got the.
Do they have it where you can stay
anonymity
anonymous?
law?
Yeah. But it's not over yet because tonight's drawing. What's the jackpot right now on Powerball?
Like $636 million.
Yeah, I mean that could reach $1 billion if there's not a winner.
Billions.
So pretty interesting. That's it.
That's almost
$700 million. I do not. I only do it when the hype is going, and I probably shouldn't do that. It doesn't increase your chances of winning.
You have better chances when the jackpot's probably low because not as many people.
You always
are
have
playing.
the same chance. Remember we talked about this.
Same chance. You have a lower chance of winning the complete jackpot. However,
but
point. Your chances of winning do not change. The chances
you still have to match the same number of numbers.
Yeah,
it's not
change.
like a lottery or a drawing where there's only 100 people in there, so I have a 1 out of 100.
Right.
Yeah.
If it is,
it's matching numbers. Yeah.
Imagine that they had the raffle jackpot is $1.6 billion.
Yeah. New York State 50-50. Listen, the chances you have of winning the Comets 50-50 are unbelievable. When you look at like $328 million to 1.
Well, the night of they broke the record.
But I haven't even come close on that. So.
The night they broke the record, they had a deal where you could buy 121 numbers or something like that because it was the 121 sellout, and I still didn't win because everybody else was buying 121.
And that was encouraging people to spend $20.
Yes.
What did the jackpot go up to?
Oh, I don't. Oh, I can't say that I was in a state to remember.
Boy, I got to tell you something. Those jackpots were up over $20,000 a couple of years ago.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
The first year. Oh yeah.
Second year, first year, second year, somewhere in there. But it hasn't been like that in the last year and a half, 2 years. Interesting. All right. So last night, I don't know. Is this an indicator? The Red Sox, it was kind of close. It was a game, and then they just blew them out.
Yeah, it was funny because I saw. First of all, the first half of the game, the first 5 innings, give or take, took 2 hours to play. It was unbelievable. I ended up falling asleep. But the game was 3-3. There was some back and forth. Red Sox got a couple runs in the first. The Dodgers answered back. Red Sox took the lead. Dodgers went on to tie it. And then what was the final? They ended up
8-4.
8-4. Okay.
It was like, so I was at dinner, and then looked up. The game was on at the restaurant, and I look up, and the game had just started, and it was 2-0. I'm like, what did they give him, like a two?
No, they
a
jumped
two-run
on
advantage
Kershaw.
or something?
They jumped on Kershaw quick.
Big story in the New York Post this morning. Big headlines. Whoever wins that lottery this morning touched me inappropriately 30 years ago.
There was my friend of mine on Instagram said, to whoever wins the lottery, I'm pregnant, and it's yours.
Michael says, on to the Powerball. And, that's the next. How about this where there's two huge. I think Powerball is nearing the second largest ever jackpot in the United States. That's pretty big.
It's a mere bag of shells compared to 1.6 billion.
It is, but it doesn't. Think about what it was like. I remember this is back when I first started working in radio, and probably had just graduated from high school and was starting in college. And whatever, that was in the 80s, early 80s, and I remember figuring it out that I was going to win. Apparently, I was pretty good in radio, not in math. I wasn't. But that was like nothing. That was like $1 million. It was you get a chance to win $1 million.
I know, $1 in a dream.
It was a big deal, and look at where we are.
My grandfather, he's got I don't know, he might get mad at me for discussing this, but he has literally been recording all the lottery numbers, winning lottery numbers,
and he's
for like the past 20 years. And someday I'll get hopefully he'll develop the formula.
He's got a system?
I don't know, but he's just trying to look at a pattern or something.
He ought to buy a system. They sell them at Best Buy. It's called a computer. They would do all that for him. Just let him know that.
I know, I will.
I'm sure it's a
There's
lot of
something
fun,
about handwriting.
Yeah,
though.
it is. Yeah, I bet that'll be really a nice little souvenir.
To your point about going back, I mean, I joke about the honeymooners all the time, but Ralph Cramden was one time on. It was a famous show. It was the $62,000 answer, or the $66,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even someone's salary in New York City nowadays.
Kellogg's has announced that Honey Smacks is back on the shelves because
the new formula, right?
No, they were pulled because of salmonella problems.
I read something.
No,
I thought it was right on the box that they said they changed the formula.
Well, that might have already happened, but it was recently pulled because of salmonella. And now it's back in the I'm not saying there wasn't a formula change. Yeah. I'm just saying that whether the new formula or not, they didn't include salmonella.
Yes.
And it was included.
That's the missing ingredient.
By mistake.
Isn't it funny?
And it has now been pulled. But I got to tell you, I was at Aldi's, which I got to tell you something. The best place to buy olive oil is Aldi's. They have it's authentic olive oil.
We think
it's not. It is. You can
if it tastes like grass.
If it burns your throat a little bit, it's olive oil. Now they're gonna be putting like hot pepper in the vegetable oil, saying it's olive oil. Anyway, they have, because my daughter's texting me, you got to get this sugar smack Wally Whack cereal, whatever it is. So I'm going through the aisle, and they had Honey Smacks, but no, it was Honey's Been Smacked cereal.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a frog on there, but it's a different looking frog.
Yeah, it's different color a little bit.
They don't have Lucky Charms. They have Luckily Charmed. And I believe it's Mr. Corrigan that's on the box. I'm pretty sure. You ever see him in the parade dressed as the leprechaun?
Yeah.
It's a different leprechaun is my point. They have Frosted Flakes. But they're Frosted Flakes. It kind of doesn't have a tiger on it.
It's a kitty cat.
It's a kitty cat, yeah. And it's instead of Frosted Flakes, these are Frosty Flakes. And it's amazing because I bought her the whatever she wanted. We came home, and she didn't realize it wasn't the same thing. And I said, well, try those, see if they taste similar. And what was amazing is she pulled out the old box and how close of a ripoff those boxes are.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's made by the same company. It could be.
That's interesting, but it's funny you mentioned the Lucky Charms because that's what my son eats. Is I forget what it's called, something in marshmallows, and
what's great is it doesn't come in a box; it comes in like an enormous 8-pound bag.
No, not those. Those are from Walmart.
I'm sorry, they've already pulled Honey's Been Smacked off the shelves because it's not PC. That's off the shelves, so you can no longer buy that officially at Aldi's. I just wanted you to know that.
And if you've ever eaten that cereal, you cannot be a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah, what a start to a Wednesday morning.
I'll tell you, the 2 weeks...
we didn't even get into Eric Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Was in for Claudia Tenney yesterday.
Yeah, he was signing autographs and
about 100 people at the headquarters, the Republican headquarters in New Hartford, and he spoke, right? He although we heard a clip that's kind of hard, it's kind of hard to hear him. Because there's so many excited people there.
Yeah.
Jim Zecca's featured in the OD story. They're calling him an activist now. So no longer community advocate. He is an activist. And I guess that's probably what Jim, if you're listening, that's probably what you are.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jim clips out all of the clippings.
From the newspaper?
Yeah.
He's got like a wall.
I bet he does.
This is when he tell his grandkids, This is when we got Trump into office.
This is it.
When we did it.
When we did it.
He was telling me that a lot of so we have a full photo gallery of yesterday's rally at WIBX950.com. But a lot of the background signs that you may not have seen around here, he was able to kind of snag from the Erie, Pennsylvania rally he attended.
Oh, that's called.
So you saw a lot of So you see a lot of Trump 2020 signs.
While the rest
Keep
of us
America
are
great.
trying to buy Syracuse Mets hats, Jim Zecca's out collecting minor league Trump hats throughout the states. How about this story? Burns me up. This man had been convicted of murdering his wife 8 years ago. And he refused. This is what these murderers do. They refuse information. So do you know what he wanted to reveal? Because we know this with stories like Sarah Ann Wood.
Yeah.
The family simply wants closure. And in this case, the family wanted closure. So Douglas Stewart is the guy's name. He was convicted of murdering his wife 8 years ago. Finally, he has told authorities where the body was buried. And he led them, along with medical examiners, to the wooded burial site in Kalamazoo County on Monday. He'd been convicted back in 2011, and he showed very little emotion. All he wanted was an Xbox, and they gave it to him.
So he gets to play Xbox in prison?
Yeah.
That's garbage.
I would have given him the Xbox.
And then taken
across
it
the head.
That would work. But I'd just given it to him without any games included. It's like, hey, I'm sorry.
Hey, you didn't ask for any games.
You wanted an Xbox. Kind of like, you have 3 wishes.
Yeah.
3 wishes from the genie.
Mm-hmm.
But is that not disgusting?
I think it's totally disgusting.
I'll
tell you, my younger brother...
Is it worth finding out where she's buried to give this guy some pleasure to be able to play his video games? Give me a break.
Well, I can totally understand wanting closure for the family.
I do, too, but I don't think the guy should have gotten the... I had my fingers crossed when I told you I was going to do it. I would do anything. The guy's in prison. Give me a break. He killed his wife.
I know. What do they get? What's he going to do? Sue if they don't give him the Xbox?
Yeah, probably. I mean, this day and age, maybe. And National Weather Service is predicting that the Northeast is going to be hit with a nor'easter coming up by this weekend. Probably not going to come in the form of snow, however. Might be some wet snow, but they're saying we could experience that even up here in the form of a lot of rain. So be ready for that. We'll have a full forecast coming up on it. And as we mentioned, the jackpot drawing tonight is $620 million tonight.
Mere bag of shells.
Powerball.
Peanuts.
Crumbs.
6:30. We have a lot to get to here today. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Tiny Powers about that winning ticket holder we don't know who they are and probably won't know in South Carolina. But we'll talk about it with her coming up. Also, Rachel Sutherland, Vice President Pence outlining Space Force. And we'll get details on that coming up.
This confirms my theory.
Which confirms mine as well.
Yeah.
Which is much different than yours. But, yep, you're right. 6:30.
Oh, is Tanya on now?
Is she on right now? What is the latest? Tiny J. Powers, is it true we're hearing there is a South Carolina ticket holder who's going to wake up very, very happy this morning?
Yes, it is.
Darn it all. That piece of garbage. Sorry, I'm back to normal.
I take it you have no relatives in South Carolina. You're trying to You're trying to frantically find.
What if it's Stephanie?
That is the very interesting. Thing that they say the minute someone finds out that you won, everybody starts calling you and asking for money.
Yeah, I would imagine that happens. Yeah.
I could deal with it though. I'd find a way.
Change your number.
So what do we know? They had all 5 numbers plus the mega whatever ball.
Yeah, the mega ball. They had all 5 of the numbers, 28, 62, 65, 70, and the mega ball 5. 5 was also in there. That was also one of the regular numbers as well. We don't know if right now where it was, where the winning ticket was sold. The player that won, though, I mean, think about the odds. The chance of matching all 6 of those numbers and winning the prize is 1 in 302.5 million.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Really, and I was so hoping there wasn't going to be a winner because we most likely would have hit $2 billion on Friday's drawing.
I No, it's been crazy. People, everybody I've talked to, tried to even if they weren't buying a ticket, would go in like a convenience store or something or wherever they were selling them, and they're like, "Man, the line is so long. I can't even get my Sprite and walk out."
I have to tell you, I did not see any lines here, which does not surprise me. But I will tell you, every time I stopped at a convenience store, every single person in front of me had a lottery ticket. So
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
It seemed that everybody was in on it, and I guess we do it because it's big and there's a lot of hype. And it's funny how we look at what does it restart at? So the next Friday night's drawing will be worth
$750,000. Sorry,
it's
we
not
had
even
to give
that.
A lot.
It's a lot of money.
Probably like $20 million or something.
Yeah, I mean,
but we're like, we don't want that. I only play when it reaches $1 billion. I'm sorry.
I don't want that measly million. I'm waiting for the big money. That's kind of the strategy I think a lot of us have. That especially if we don't play it very often.
Yeah.
When the hype kind of builds up, we're like, oh, this will be fun. Let's do this because you've got something in common with other people that you're all trying for the same thing.
I even did the whole thing of okay, your birth date is this, your birth date is this, and I did the whole birthday thing.
Now look, don't sleep on Powerball either, because that one tonight is worth $620 million.
Yeah, and my question on last week when on Friday they increased, they said, well, there's so many people playing, it's increased to $1 billion, and it seems like every time there's a big one, that's what they do, but they didn't this time. There was certainly a lot of people playing, an increase of people playing, but they didn't seem to increase the jackpot.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works. I mean, as far as how much they add, and there's math involved.
Yeah, I'm sure it's mathematics.
All the math, but we probably, unless they just want to tell us who the new billionaire is. I mean, the new billionaire themselves wants to come out. South Carolina is one of those 8 states where they can stay anonymous.
Yeah. Well, I think I might stay anonymous.
I would definitely.
It'll probably leak out.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden the guy's his one family little ranch house, he paints it in solid gold. It's like, wow, look at Bob over there.
Hey, Jim, the insurance business is treating you well, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to Bob. Well, he moved to Hawaii. So, okay.
Witness protection.
Yeah. All right, Tanya, we appreciate it, and good luck tonight if you play in the Powerball tonight.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you so much. Okay, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. My whole thing on the Space Force is, why don't we utilize? First of all, what shocks me is, aren't we already doing this? I just have such trust in my government that we're already way ahead of everybody in space, right? Don't you think that? And we've used the Air Force, we've used NASA. What do you think?
That's one argument, is that we're already doing this.
Yeah.
Whether it's NASA or the U.S. Air Force is actually, my understanding, the one that oversees what's going on in space as far as that little light on your phone, right, that keeps... So we all rely on the satellites that are out there. No one's arguing that we need to protect this. The question is, do we need a 6th branch of the military to be able to protect that?
Yeah.
I think initial estimates are some $13 billion over the first 5 years. But then the other argument is, let's be forward-looking. What's going to happen 50, 60, 70, 100 years down the road? Do we need a 6th branch of the military to do that? So far, Congress, even both sides controlled by Republicans, have ignored the president's request for this. And after the midterms with the seating of a new Congress, I don't know if they'll have the appetite for it.
I just find, I hate to do this, but the pictures of Star Wars come to mind. And I don't know the long history of Star Wars, but I do believe it started out as an Air Force, and they just ended up in space. And that's why I kind of feel like this is already the something that the Air Force should, and we should invest that money. But if you're investing all of this money into a new branch of the armed forces, I hate to say it, but now we're talking about new logos, and that's already been talked about.
New training,
all
new
of this,
boot camps.
Yeah. So I'm not necessarily, but now, so what is the vice president saying? He seems all in on this.
Well, he is. I mean, he was there yesterday talking to the National Space Council, saying that some recommendations have been sent over to the president. They're just recommendations, though, and it was a lot of let's have a U.S. Space Force kind of speech, just to boil it down. But one of the recommendations is to set up a U.S. combatant command, and that was done for cyber, if you'll remember. Yeah. That's its own combatant command. But you don't have cyber being a 6th branch of the military.
Right.
Again, the last time that happened was in 1947 with the creation of the Air Force. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying, yeah, it's exciting to think about uniforms and, a Wookiee and everything like that.
Yeah,
It may not happen.
R2D2.
Sorry.
I mean, all of that stuff. All right, Rachel. And listen, please, if you would just destroy me today if you told me somebody won the lottery last night. I mean, I would be
wait
done.
a minute. Someone won something in South Carolina, right?
They did. It's
I
all
know.
over.
We'll just have to. I guess we'll have to keep on trying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I won $13.
I never win anything, although I haven't checked my numbers.
Well, you should check them because sometimes you win for losing, and that's only the only way I win.
Wait, don't you have to pay taxes on that, or is that too low?
I think you do have to pay taxes on everything. And by the way, I'm in New York, so of course we pay taxes on it.
Of course you have to pay taxes on it.
All
Have
right.
fun.
Bill won $2. He's got to give him $5.
Thank you so much, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News. The governor's debate last night with Mark Molinaro was heated at times, and this is a part where they get talking a little bit about. They started on health care and mental health, and it developed into something much more personal. So listen into a little of the debate last night.
Hypocritical for you to sit here, an acolyte of Donald Trump, mini-me of Donald Trump, who is decimating health care in this state, taking health care from poor people, cutting Medicaid, cutting mental health services, removing health insurance from close to 1 million New Yorkers, and say the answer is more health care service.
Okay, Mr. Molinaro, 15 seconds.
I'm surprised it took him this long to go there. But, sir, I've been in elected office for a very long time. I was in office before you. I was in office before Mr. Trump.
You're a lifetime politician, we know.
Your private law firm represented Mr. Trump and his real estate interests before state agencies while your father was governor. You accepted $60,000 from Donald Trump and haven't returned it. You, when you were trying to make friends with the president when he first came to office, told him you wouldn't run against him. And you, sir, had him at your bachelor party. I didn't. So at the end of the day, sir, I have a long record of committing to help those who are most vulnerable. I grew up on food stamps.
Are you saying you don't support Donald Trump?
I'm saying that I'm absolutely committed to the delivery of mental health service.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Let's get out of this conversation.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I support anyone who is going to...
Okay, this becomes very interesting because in order for Mark Molinaro to win upstate, he must denounce Cuomo. He must denounce Pelosi. He must denounce all, right? But in order for him to win the governorship, he would need New York City. And Trump is so polarizing in New York City, he will not say he supports Donald Trump. I found this to be very interesting. And Cuomo just turns into the prosecutor here.
Yeah.
But listen in and see how it ends.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Do
you support Donald Trump?
Mr. Molinaro,
you can't answer it.
You have
answered it because your ad on TV says, I vote conservative for Mark Molinaro and stand with Donald Trump. So you may as well have said it here.
Today, under this president and this federal government, America has the most competitive economy in the world, and New York State lags behind.
I support Donald Trump.
I support every effort.
Just tell the truth.
Every effort to ensure.
Just say I support Donald Trump.
I support every effort to that this president wants to invest.
You won't say you support the president.
Gentlemen, we're going to move on.
Well, and she lost control.
Oh, completely. And at one point, and by the way, she allowed the governor to back him into a very difficult corner. If you're watching on TV, the look on Molinaro's face was
what do I do?
Correct. It was not. It wasn't anger. It was like, wow, he's knocking me off my feet here. That's kind of the way he looked. And he never did say, I support Donald Trump.
I know this gets kind of interesting when they go back and forth, but the moderator has to step in and stop Cuomo from. He's asking a question. Molinaro's trying to answer, and he's cutting him off during the answer.
Cuomo became more of, not a prosecutor, but he became the guy or woman who's, there's a light in the room, it's dark. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah.
Tell me now. How'd you do it? No, answer the question. Yeah. I mean, a judge somebody would step in and say, Your Honor, stop this.
Stop badgering your
witness. She let
witness.
it go. Her name is Marcia Kramer. At one point later on in the night, though, I'll have to find the audio. At one point later on, she said, Governor, I'm sorry, Governor, excuse me, Mr. Governor, listen, I'm going to beat you up if you don't stop. I mean, she literally kind of said that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you.
Yeah. That's what she said. I'm going to punch you out. And he said, You're going to punch me out? and everybody kind of laughed, and it did stop. It stopped it, and they did a lightning round at the end, which was kind of funny. They asked if you were to win the lottery, tonight's lottery drawing, how would you spend it? And the governor said he'd put it into a trust for his kids, and Molinaro said I'd invest it into my kids' education. So that was kind of an interesting. Not interesting question, but interesting
and terrible answers. I mean, okay, so it's gonna your kid's education's gonna cost $535 million.
Yeah, that'd be quite an education.
I'm planning on having 1,000 kids.
My children will be going to school on a Space Force planet somewhere beyond. I do think though that it was interesting to watch. I'm not sure what it does for Molinaro. Yeah. I think people are pretty dug in as to where they're at. If you're upstate, he'll probably do very well. New York City, he's going to be crushed.
So it's 3 terms for New York governor, right? Is that the max? That's why Bloomberg got out. Didn't they extend it?
Might be.
They extended it 4 years for Bloomberg.
This would be his third, right?
This would be Cuomo's third. So I think this is his last go-around.
Anyway, the audio, it's worth watching. And this was last minute. It wasn't even on the TV listings. It was all very last minute yesterday when it all pulled together, starting really over the weekend, right? Isn't that where the governor was on a radio show and
yes.
talked about doing this? So it happened very, very quickly. How about a little mother's instinct in New Jersey? This is an interesting story. A mom in New Jersey named Coberly Bull, I'm sure I butchered that, got a Facebook message from a racist jerk in Kentucky last week. She had no idea who he was, but she called the cops. They arrested him just as he was pulling out of his driveway with hundreds of rounds of ammunition along with detailed plans for attacking 2 schools.
You're kidding me.
So the way he was speaking, and it was a weird Facebook message, but the way he was describing things, it alerted her to call the police. They looked into it, and sure enough, they found, here's some audio on what was discovered. Here we go.
It was definitely racially motivated, using the N-word a lot. Something in the back of my head was like, this isn't right. Like, something's not sitting well. So other people were able to look him up and go on his page easily. I would hope that someone would, in the same situation, just do the same thing. Like, because obviously you never know. It could be an idle threat or it could be the next mass shooter.
Well, which is better than her trying to track the person down on her own, right, and prevent him from going into his house. I mean, so this seems to be, she followed the proper protocol. She called authorities and said, and there was enough there, right? This was a little more than a hunch. Right. There was enough. It seemed like there was enough there. Megyn Kelly, in a little bit of trouble, had to email an apology for some comments that she made about how blackface was okay on Halloween. The conversation was all about, what's the big deal? So you want to be Oprah Winfrey. Why is it bad?
She made the reference to Diana Ross.
Ross.
Who doesn't want to be Diana Ross?
Who doesn't want to be Diana Ross? The problem is she was not sensitive to the history of blackface, which is what got her in trouble. Here's a little clip from Megyn Kelly.
What is racist? Because truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface on Halloween, or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween. Like, back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
If somebody feels like something is offensive to them, then you should say it, and that's fair game. Yeah, and you should be able to take it if you're going to dress up like that.
Yeah, you got to be able to take it.
Yeah. One of the things they mentioned is people dressing up like Nazis and this. If you think it's offensive, it probably is.
Yep. There was a controversy on The Real Housewives of New York with Luann, as she dressed as Diana Ross, and she made her skin look darker than it really is, and people said that was racist. And I don't know, I thought, like, who doesn't love Diana Ross? She wants to look like Diana Ross for one day. I don't know how, like, that got racist on Halloween. It's not like she's walking around
I have not seen it, but it sounds a little racist to me.
Me too. And by the way, I haven't seen the other, but if she really wanted to look like
Didn't somebody else get in trouble? Like Martha Stewart, there was an incident where she did something with blackface.
It was Paula Deen.
Paula Deen, yeah.
It was Paula Deen. And, that was a little off. What do you need to say?
I mistakenly said when Bloomberg was governor, what I meant was he was mayor, and they extended it 3 terms. Andrew,
and there's no term limit
on
governor
governor.
in New York.
Boy, I have a feeling he could be around for a long time.
Yeah, he could.
What else is he going to do?
And how does he get? Unless somebody with any clout is able to challenge him, because clearly Cynthia Nixon was not that person. I'm not sure how upstate New York.
Maybe Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo, you think that could be? And now Wolf Blitzer is running for governor. Who knows? But stranger things have happened. Nobody thought Pataki could win, but the numbers were there that year. They knew they were in trouble. This does not seem to be that way. Just for the record. Hold on tight. We have a lot to get into. Coming up next hour, Jim Carroll, that psychic madman, is kind of altered what he does, and he has something really cool to debut on the radio, and you can be a part of it. Coming up here at WIBX. Jim, they're calling you an activist in today's paper.
An activist? Where did they come up with that one?
Good morning. Well, I mean, advocate, activist.
Activist.
It's similar.
Yeah. You are an activist, though. I think you are. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. We had a blast, though, yesterday. And it was nice to see Davey there at one of the events, and then in the afternoon,
it's Uncle Smitty to
you.
Event.
Davey was covering the nuns on the bus go round and round yesterday. Yep.
Yep.
So
counter rally, of course,
and Eric Trump was in town. This is big. Obviously, your quote in the paper talks about how great it is that not only the president came, but now his family members are coming.
Yeah, and I neglected to mention Ivanka was here. Ivanka was. We went out to see 3 of the.
You're breaking up on me. So.
I got to see 3 of the Trump members, including the president, of course. But Ivanka was down in Cortland County.
Oh, okay.
At Tuco,
well, that's not
we
here,
went to that event as well.
Well, you just travel. You've become a nomad, a Trump nomad is what you become. You're all over for Trump.
That's kind of an oxymoron, though.
Trump nomad.
Usually Trump supporters, they're not
they
nomad.
Don't like
they're
nomads.
very mad.
We're very okay. You go that way. I think that's funnier.
We're definitely not mad. We're very happy.
Yes.
We're happy to see unemployment at a 50-year low.
Yeah,
that's job. I mean, the nuns were worried and concerned about poverty. And how do you get rid of poverty?
Damn
you get
nuns.
rid of poverty by employing people, and the Trump administration has employed people.
Can I ask you though, Jim? What I find humorous, and this is just, and don't send me your stupid emails and text messages about why are you so anti-Trump. I don't very much. I don't talk Trump a lot. I just find things to be interesting.
You don't Trump? Wait a minute.
I
Bill.
do
you
not
don't talk Trump a lot.
I don't. If I do, it's really never. I'm not. Turn on CNN and see what talking Trump a lot is like. That's Trump a lot.
Yeah.
That's the Trump a lot network. Everything is Trump. But listen, what I find interesting though is, and this is President Trump, and he doesn't apologize, and it works for him. But back when Obama was touting unemployment numbers, and I understand they certainly aren't where they are today, but back when fake news, they're not real, people have left the workplace, they've left the workforce, he would never believe the numbers. He never believes polls unless the poll is favorable. Then polls are good. Unemployment numbers, if they're Obama's or Bush's or anybody else's, they're not real. But now these unemployment numbers, they're real. I just find that to be funny. But I get it. It's all positive.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. Things are happening. I mean, remember 2 years ago when we talked about this in the earlier stages of the campaign?
I've tried to forget
Trump would never get elected.
Well, listen, I
this far, but look at how things have changed, Bill.
It certainly has.
Jim,
There's
do you think now, Jim, with Eric coming yesterday, do you think that is an indication that President Trump will or will not be here still with 13 days left here?
We're really hoping. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. I mean, we went to the rally in Erie, Pennsylvania, and the guy was just full of energy. I mean, the president was just unbelievable, and he was backing his candidates. He's really, as much as you say, he's a team player. I mean, look at the issues he had with the senator from Texas, Lion Ted. You remember all that?
I just wanted to ask you, is the Trump Kool-Aid sugar-free? I'm kind of wondering. Or are there carbs in that Kool-Aid? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
I was asking you if the Trump Kool-Aid is sugar-free or if it has carbs. Jim, I have to tell you, and I've said this from the very beginning, we certainly were at odds. You never didn't call in. You never. We had fun with it, and still have, and I appreciate that. Although the other day you said if you'd be nicer to people, more people would come on. I'm not going to be nicer to people, Jim. It just is not going to happen.
I know it's not. It's just not you, Bill. You like to have you like to stir the pot.
What amazes me though? What amazes me is these are all Trump supporters who are absolutely love the fact that Trump will go after somebody. He'll call him a name. He gets terrible nicknames for people, and you all love that. But the minute somebody else does it, it's like, okay, you asked a pretty tough question there. That's crossing the line. I just see it that way. But listen, this is big for you. You got to be loving it.
In a different way, Bill.
Well, believe me.
You know, wait a minute. You know New Yorkers a lot. You know how they are. You talk to the Gabby Cabby. Come on. You know how he is.
You're right.
That's just the way New Yorkers are. Trump is truly New Yorker. That's the way he is.
I want to ask you, do you think the handing out of the baby killer flyers are a little much? I mean, is there a level, do you feel, where this campaign is going too far, both sides?
Well, to be honest with you, that's beyond a campaign. Those are individuals that are very. I mean, I've talked to a lot of the Right to Life folks, and they're very adamant about that issue. And I understand that this late term abortion nonsense is really sickening when you look at. And that you got to read that legislation, Bill.
Yeah.
The legislation that was going to be passed, and it was very close, and almost got passed in New York State. That late-term abortion bill.
So you feel it's okay. It's okay to go to a confirmation and tape up baby killer flyers on the pews.
Well, I've heard about that. That might be going a little too far. But
so we could agree on something. That's
strongly about that issue.
Yeah. But strongly about there's one thing about believing strongly in something. Another thing about just being completely indecent. And there should be a line there should be a line on both sides. Both sides that don't end up getting crossed. But
I mean, when people fought slavery, I mean, the people that fought slavery didn't feel that slavery was the right thing to do, and they did what they had to do, and that's how some of these people feel.
Are we okay? So we're comparing slavery to the abortion issue. All right, okay. Well, Jim, you got to be a happy man. You've and my guess is, from what I understand, and maybe you know more than we do, that Trump is coming back. The president is coming.
I don't know. I really don't. I wish I did.
Weren't you guys? Wasn't there a chant going yesterday at this saying "Bring your dad" or something like that?
I'm sorry.
Wasn't there a chant at the headquarters yesterday? Bring your dad, or what was the chant?
Tell dad
to come. Something like that.
Yeah, we were. There were a lot of folks that were really.
I'm hearing Jim. I'm hearing he'll be back before the election, but you never know. Things are tight out there. He's got a lot of places to go, but you never know. And this time I'm hearing it would be a rally form.
Very supportive of Claudia, and Claudia's been very present in his policies.
Yeah. All right.
They know that. The family knows that. And that's why they've been doing a lot of the manufacturing. Before Eric came here, apparently Claudia took him to places like Revere Wear and the business in the area. Of course, Suit Coat last month with Ivanka.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're booming up here now.
Jim, how did this work? You were invited. Did you have to pay? How did this rally work?
Yeah.
Were you invited? Did you have to pay? Did you have to apply and get approved? How did this work?
Well, actually, Claudia really did want to make sure all of the people that have been.
You got a bad line this morning.
Bad line this morning. Very bad line.
Go ahead. So say that again.
I'm sorry. So a lot of the folks that have been right. And the president from day one, of course, were called and at the event that this is going to be happening. Could you come to the headquarters? And of course, we all did. And other people throughout the 22nd district were also contacted. So we had dinner after with some of the folks from Cortland County and Shenango County that we've been working with the Trump group too.
All right. Well, listen, James, we appreciate it and congratulate you on a big day yesterday.
Yeah, it was a fun day, and we got all together again, so that was a good thing too.
All right.
Yeah, the old Trump group.
All right, the old Trump group. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
right,
have a good day.
You said only about, 100?
Tickled pink, happy as can be.
Yeah, he is. Someone lit a fire under him, and he, he's all over. He goes to rallies in other states.
He follows.
He tries to rally in other states.
He's been the big Trump supporter since day one.
Man. Yeah, he is.
There's the group. There's Grateful Dead. What's the other group?
Oh, Fish.
Fish and Trump.
Yeah.
That's what the world has come to now. They travel all over. How many Trump rallies have you been to? This is my 16th. I go to all of them.
I want to go to one in all 50 states.
On the line right now is Gordon in New Hartford. Good morning, Gordon.
Hello, this is Gordon. Yes, hi, good morning.
Good morning. So, are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Well, you didn't win the lottery last night.
No.
Do you have tickets for tonight's drawing?
No.
Do you ever play the lottery?
Just a scratch-off, usually, seldomly.
Yeah.
I don't usually play the lottery.
Well, you're playing it right now with zero investment. That's pretty good, except for your time, of course.
Yes.
So here we go. Here's your question. And the question is about the lottery, just for the records.
Okay.
The headlines were huge. The largest lottery prize ever won in the United States was a whopping $40 million. And that held the record for quite a few years. What year did that $40 million jackpot, that whopping jackpot, what year did that happen? Ready? Go.
2008.
Was it 2008? You are off just a little bit.
Oh, no, don't tell me about a year.
I was thinking like 02.
Even worse than that. Yeah.
07?
Yeah, 1984.
Oh, okay.
And those are the numbers. That was such a big deal. 1984, Illinois, $40 million jackpot. People were going nuts. And look at what we looked at last night, $1.6 billion.
Incredible.
It's really quite crazy. Gordon, though, I am going to make this worth the trip for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Have you tried the 72 Tavern and Grill as of yet?
No, where's that?
That is connected to the Adirondack Bank Center.
Oh, I haven't.
Oh, you got to get in there. The food's really good, and the atmosphere is cool. You can go before a game, during the game, or any day of the week. I got a $25 gift card that I'd like to give to you right now, okay?
Okay.
You sit tight. Davey's going to hook you up. Thank you, Gordon.
Okay, thank you.
What was the correct answer again?
The correct answer was 1984.
1984. So you take your phone out, right, and you go to the WIBX 950 app. When you open up the app, you open up the page. On the left-hand side, it says Contact Us. Send us an email. You send me an email that says 1984, and you do it this morning. You get an entry into our drawing at the end of this month for a complete brake job from Oriskany Garage Tire and Auto Service on Champlain Avenue, Utica. Obviously, great service, and they've been in business for decades. Mechanics you can trust. Oriskany Garage Tire and Auto Service. All you got to do, using the app, it's just got to send us an email that says 1984. It's got your name on it.
You automatically are in.
You're automatically in. Every day, by the way. Every day.
I think the lottery has some opportunity where you can send in tickets and something happens. Does anybody know about that? I don't know.
I don't.
Jim Carroll, if you could move, unless you're good right there. It's just
we got the camera
that
here.
Works pretty good.
So we'll put you
They're
on.
seeing the back of your head. So if you can come on the other side, if that works for you, I want to do that. Anyway, Gordon, you'll get that from the 72 Tavern.
Poor Jim's got to do the jungle gym over here.
Download the app. You can search the app, WIBX 950, in Google Play or in the App Store for your phone, and it's well worth the download. Jim Carroll is in. Come along on a journey into one of the world's most fascinating minds. Imagine being able to look into someone's eyes and being able to tell if they are lying or telling the truth.
Oh, no.
And I'm able to do that.
I'm always excited when Jim's in.
I'm actually, Jim, I've been able to do this. I've studied my children.
And past employees?
Yeah. And plenty of coworkers. All right, Jim Carroll, good morning. And it's been a while. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, great to be back. My gosh, it has been a while.
It's our Christmas show.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Yeah,
last
and
time
we'll do another one of those this year.
Definitely.
It's going to fall on the Friday before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Christmas Eve show.
When is Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve is on a Monday this year.
Oh, then that's when we really should do it.
Yeah, I just think, however we want to do it, it doesn't matter. I'll be working.
Either way, Jim Carroll, speaking to the lottery, going back to many years, you actually picked the numbers, and they came in, and people played the numbers, right?
Yeah, and that was real. That
in
was
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that was. It's not a magic trick or anything.
Yeah.
I had a dream, and the phone rings. Back then, we had phones, regular phones,
connected to the wall.
yeah. And all of a sudden, the voice goes, "Jim, you were right. The Pennsylvania Daily number was 222 on December 22nd." And I woke up. I had my hand up like that. I'm like, "What?" So I wrote it down on the side of my bed. And went to the toilet, went back to sleep, and I had to get up early in the morning to go to a show in Philly. And when I woke up, I'm rushed around, getting ready for my show, and my wife's making the bed, and she brings this note over to me, and she goes, and I look at it, and all of a sudden the whole dream clicked when I seen the note. Thank goodness I wrote the note. And so I went to the show that day. It was November 8th. I told everybody, play 222, December 22nd. I had 31 shows between then and Christmas. And the December 22nd, I had a local show, and when I came home, I rushed home to see what the number was, and I see my voicemail. It has, "You have 67 messages in your mailbox."
Wow.
I'm like, wow, being a magician back then, that's a lot. That means a lot of work, So I So I started playing them, and this is a true story. The third message, the voice goes, "Jim, you were right. The Pennsylvania Daily number was 222. Same voice as in the dream. It ended up being a guy named Ken Hansen, fire chief at Lehigh Township Fire Department, a show that I'd done. And all the messages obviously were thanking me. Oh my God!
And he played it. Yeah, that's
but
really
over
cool.
$12 million was won, and the average payout was $1.1 million. They changed lottery laws, and like I showed you yesterday, it's still on LotteryUSA.com.
Yeah, it's on a website.
Can I ask? You said the winning number was 222. Now, like nowadays, we see it's got to be 64, 65,
well, no, they
81.
still have the three numbers. They pick threes.
But it was a $12 million.
It was a Pennsylvania Daily number back then, and you get $500 for every buck you put on it, and the average payout is $1.1 million. And on that day, over $12 million was won just around the Lehigh Valley where I lived in Pennsylvania.
222.
Yeah, I wish I could have had a dream about this big one yesterday. Well, I would have ended up splitting it anyway. But
you would have. Or tonight, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
The Powerball.
If you have a dream,
$620 million.
Take a nap. Take a nap today, this afternoon.
I had a dream about the number 25. Maybe that's going to be one of the numbers. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
There you go. There's one number for you.
I'll add that. Now I got to play again. Damn it. Okay. Now you're doing something with the mind. Explain what but with technology, and it's the mind versus technology. It's amazing what technology can do, right?
Yeah. I came up with this. I call it cogmental intelligence. That's a word I made up. and doing all these military bases and things like that. And
you travel the world in military doing military shows.
I was in Afghanistan 2 times in the last year and a half, and Qatar. I was on the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush, getting propelled off, catapulted off. What a thrill!
Yeah, I bet.
So I travel around the world now, and but one of the things I specialize in is being able to look at somebody and the art of deception detection, being able to tell if they lie or tell the truth, and it's pretty high accuracy in the 90s. And the one day I'm doing it at a thing called the Warrior Games at West Point, where I just performed again, 67 appearances at West Point.
Wow!
And so I'm doing this to this general, not knowing at the time that he's the head of military intelligence, and here I am trying to tell if he lies or tells the truth.
Yeah,
it was so fun.
Yeah.
So it really took off, the deception detation stuff, and I could.
Let's see what you can do here with it. You have an Alexa that you brought in.
Yeah. The Alexa's really cool. See what happens to me, being a mentalist all these years. I thought, wow, that's cool, but I don't want to do the same thing everybody else does. I always try to be different, all right? And like doing the bear traps and the shock chairs and stuff like that. Yeah, I still have that in the arsenal, but this thing here, when I bought the first Alexa and I seen the capabilities of what I can do with it, like watch, for example, like if what's your first name again?
Andrew.
Andrew, right? Take a card, Andrew. Like I could look at Andrew.
Don't show him the card.
And I could ask you questions, and no matter what I ask you, say no. All right? And that's deception.
Okay,
like watch. Say no matter what I ask you. Do you know what the card is?
No.
Okay, that's good. So he lied, so I could see the lie. Is it a club?
No.
Is it a diamond? See, he lied again. He's not even sure. He couldn't even respond. Watch. Is it an ace?
No.
Is it a 2?
No.
Is it a 3?
Yes.
No, he can't even lie. See what I mean, though? So I get in your head. So I thought, okay.
I don't want to lie.
Well, no. Here. So I thought, well, what do you do to follow up with this? So I call it the extended mind. I take it not only into your mind, but the mind, of your technology, your cell phones, the Alexas,
the artificial
Siris,
intelligence.
Yeah, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Like watch. So watch. We'll use it. Take a card.
Okay.
All right. Now, this time, like I already know.
Yeah.
Like look at my ready. It's is it red?
Yes.
Is it a 7 of hearts?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's cool. Now I'm going to take it a step further. Andrew, this time take a card. Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Okay.
No. Now we'll use Alexa. Watch. I think we'll be able to pick it up.
Yeah,
here,
I think we can. Let's give it a try.
Alexa, let's do a card trick.
Okay, Jim.
Can you guess the card Andrew took?
I believe it is the 3 of diamonds.
Check it out.
Oh, my God.
Is it the 3 diamonds?
Yeah. So this is what I did. So I incorporated Alexa.
So cool.
I started doing that. And going to MIT, I'm at MIT a lot now. I'm like the keynote speaker there.
Yeah.
So I got involved with a guy named Robert Ajamian, one of their scientists, and I go there to speak every month with the McGovern Brain Research Center.
Do another one.
All right, here.
I'm
take a different card.
Okay.
It
You want me
doesn't
to look
matter.
at it?
Yeah, you can look at it if you want.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alexa, let's do another card trick.
Bring it on, Jim.
Okay, name the card Andrew picked.
Is it the Jack of Spades?
Get out! I can't even do it.
Yeah. Wow. This is cool. And so I started with the card stuff.
Is
Then I
so
started.
cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Then I started teaching her numbers and colors and this. Before you know it, she's guessing birth dates. And so I started training Alexa first. Right. Then I started training Google Assistant and then Siri. So from going back and forth to MIT, we came up with these ideas. So now I'm going to battle artificial intelligence out there. They're going to get their best artificial intelligence because they just got like
so
$1 billion grant for.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's great. Advancing
No, it
artificial
is.
intelligence is great. But I want to keep everybody grounded and prove that no matter how far advanced artificial intelligence gets, nothing is more powerful than the human mind. And that's why I'm here to do this. And so it's really cool what I got going on right now. Oh, this is nothing. Here,
I know that was, but still, to me, that was.
This is nothing.
Here, like watch. Alexa, let's do a color.
I'll give it a try, Jim.
What color is Andrew's shirt?
Is it black?
This is crazy. Isn't that crazy?
It is unbelievable.
Yeah, and as we know, you could guess.
Yeah,
color.
go ahead. You can go down that road if you want.
Yeah, all right. Here, like, watch.
You got Manaski over
Here, watch. Here, put down right down in here. Any color, like the color of your underwear.
Okay.
No, not the color of your underwear. The color of a girl. If you were with a girl right now, what color would you want her underwear to be, or would maybe none, or whatever?
Right.
We're learning a lot about Jeff this morning.
With guys, it's tough because it's almost always white.
Yeah.
Or none,
or none. I guess you're right.
You wear tighty whities. You're a tighty whitey guy.
I am not. I'm a minor blue.
Now, who would
Every
the
day.
girl be that you would?
How far are we going to go into
Well,
this?
no, just to any girl's name or a waitress that you.
I got to
know
say
is
the name?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name. Okay.
Make up a name.
Now you're in big trouble.
Okay, yeah.
Now you're in big trouble. He won't say your name. Now you're in trouble.
Okay.
You're dead no matter where you go.
Okay. Ivanka.
Okay, now you have Ivanka.
Oh.
You're with Ivanka, and you're with her, and you're hoping this is the color underwear she has on. All right.
Okay.
All right. Alexa, let's do a color.
I'll give it a try, Jim.
Okay, try to guess the color of Ivanka's panties.
I don't think she's wearing any, Jim.
Oh, see, that's what he was
Is
waiting
that what you
for.
wrote down?
I wrote none. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm telling you.
And N-O-N-E, not N-U-N. I know we had the nuns in town the other day.
Yes.
So
Make
They
sure
wear a
you
lot of
learn.
underwear. A
So,
lot.
like anything I know,
Yeah.
I could transfer it to artificial
That is
intelligence.
unbelievable.
And it's really
Can we
bizarre.
try the one thing that you do with a website? Because a listener could do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
You could get,
I'd say this, and we'll do another one before we get to that. Let's give somebody a chance to call in. So you'd have to be able to have, and anybody can do this at home. We'll give you a web address. So you need to be near a computer. You could be a worker at home, doesn't matter, or even on an iPhone. But you got to be able to have access to, or any phone, access to the internet. Right?
Right. Definitely.
Explain what the address is that people will go to.
Like they would go to. In fact, a couple people that are like one person could call in, and a couple people could be checking it out.
All right.
Everybody could go there.
Let's have somebody call in. 315-736-0186. But you have to be near a computer or able to access the internet with your phone.
Smartphone.
Correct.
Or-
Yes.
Okay. 315-736-0186. Davey, the first one in. All right. Call right now, and we'll do this thing.
I'm still just my mind.
So
You're telling your mind is telling Alexa what to do, basically.
Yeah, give me something out of your pocket, anything.
Okay, I got my business card.
Don't tell me.
I'm not sure.
Don't tell her.
Oh, sorry.
All right, give me that. Okay. All right. Alexa, try to guess what I'm holding.
Money. It looks like a bill of some kind.
Alexa, name the amount.
I believe it's a $1 bill, Jim.
Wow. Ow! Is that amazing?
Okay, I want your Alexa at my house.
No, here's the cool thing, Bill. Bill, I could come to your house and do this with your Alexa.
With his?
Yeah, that's what's cool about this. All Alexas all over the world.
Could you stop my Alexa from laughing at me at night? I feel it's degrading. Yeah. All right, nobody wants to do this? Somebody call in that has that you're near a computer. Just play along. It'll be interesting. Trust me. 315-736-0186. Call right now because I'm up against the clock here. I want to try this with somebody. And it'll involve you going to a website. And what happens, I think, is really cool. Call right now, please. Do I have to reward everybody and give them something? No. Call right now. 315-736-0186.
You can reward them if it doesn't work.
You're right.
Yeah, well, Jim asked me a question, so if you have an extra 72 gift card, I'll take it.
Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Go ahead, Jim. Hit him with one more.
Okay, now, like here, go like this with your hand. Any amount of fingers you want.
Okay, I'm going to go. There we go.
Okay, ready?
All right.
Alexa, see if you could guess the number.
I don't know that.
Don't face that way. Okay, now try. Alexa, see if you could guess this number.
It's your lucky number, Jim. 7.
Isn't that
wow. It's your lucky number, Jim. 7.
That is unbelievable.
And so it's not just 7. She's like talking to you.
And here's the cool thing: till somebody calls in, watch.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know. Like I don't have to know the information. Just like in the cards, I don't know your card. Like watch, you could do it with this die. Same thing. Take this die.
Okay.
Any number, and what's your first name?
Jeff.
Jeff, right. No, you don't have to roll it. Set it to any number you want, Jeff, and cup your hand over or put this over so I can't see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully they can see that on the camera.
All right.
By the way, I'm going to run out of time. We're going to have to do this with a caller on the other side of the break. So.
Okay, good. Now, Alexa, guess the number.
It's my lucky number, Jim. 5.
Oh, it's her lucky number 5.
And it is a 5.
It's her lucky number.
Unbelievable.
Could you imagine
how this
going
is
to the
done.
casino doing this stuff and sticking that?
Are we leaving at 9 o'clock? I'm going with you.
I have the Alexa on the phone, too. You don't need to carry this big Alexa
We'll
around.
do more of this and get a caller involved. And if I have to reward, I will. I got a break at WIBX. Mike, good morning. In Utica, right? Good morning.
Hey, Bill.
You're near a computer, right?
Yep, just a warning, though. It's an old, slow computer, much like its owner.
Okay, I get that. That's all right. As long as it reaches the Internet. I want you to go, and anybody can do this at home, too, right, Jim?
Yeah.
They would be going to the website
www.coolcardtrick.com.
So if you're listening right now and you're near a computer, you can do it as well. Mike's going to do it. Coolcardtrick.com.
Right.
Let me know when you're there, Mike.
Can I tell them what they'll see? So
Yeah,
that
they'll see
right thing?
They'll see a playing card involved.
There's a playing card, yeah.
It's a black screen with a red card.
You should see a black screen, red card. That's it. Are you ready, Mike?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, Bill, here's what's going to happen, Mike. Bill's going to pick a card. Now, I don't even know where you are, and we're going to use Shazam to identify Bill's card and send it across the Internet.
Shazam on your phone.
Yeah.
So if you're on the website right now, follow along. www.coolcardtrick.com.
Can I just, this one thing as Bill's picking a card, do we need to replug in his phone to this cord so we can hear the announcement on the air?
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
I'm ready.
He's not using Alexa, he's using Shazam now, which is on his phone.
Well, this doesn't matter on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So can I look at the card?
No, don't look at it.
Okay.
It will be more fun.
I'm not going to look at it.
All right, now, here's
You with me, Mike? I can't see the card either yet. So.
Mike, you see the card in the black screen, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It's just a blank. He just says the back of the card. Yep. Now we have Shazam on my phone. Now instantaneously, when you hit Shazam, it should identify music. It's going to identify Bill's card, and we're going to shoot it all over the Internet. And this could go all over the world right now.
Right, so anybody could be logging in like Mike was doing right
now. Ready, hit
Okay.
Shazam right now.
I don't have Shazam, though.
No, we're hitting it here.
You don't need it.
Now you should see it. What do you see, Mike? Tell Bill, quick.
7 of clubs.
Bill. Is that right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And what do you guys see on your
7 of clubs.
Yeah.
It is a 7 of clubs.
And if anybody else
that
sees
I have
it
in my
that
hand.
played along, call Bill.
That is freaking
Is that
cool.
And then all I got to do to erase it is snap my fingers. Watch. And it's erased.
Oh, it's gone.
And it's ready to go again.
Is it gone at your place, too?
It's gone.
Yeah.
Wow. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
This is the example. One more quick one. Give me something from your possession.
Hold on. I'm going to let Mike go. Can I let Mike go?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to give you to Davey. We will give you a gift card to the 72 Tavern and Grill at the Adirondack Bank Center, okay? Thanks for playing along.
Last one, Bill.
All right, Mike. Sit tight.
We're going to do something. Jeff gave me something to hold.
Okay.
Last challenge for Alexa. Here we go.
Okay.
Alexa. Okay, could you guess what I'm holding?
I can't believe someone would give Jim Carroll their credit card. Jim can memorize those numbers in seconds.
All right.
Well, next time you use it,
That is stinking.
And I have them memorized too. All right. I'm just kidding.
we have a computer at any place you go. When you put my card in, it'll send a message like Alexa.
Hey, go to my website. Tell everybody.
All right, what's your website? It's
www.jimkarol.com because I'm sticking around upstate New York the whole month of December. If anybody has a holiday party, I'll slop by.
That's really cool.
This is insane, man.
Well, we come back to our Christmas show.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
All right. And we have a toy drive party that we're working on, too.
Just
and I'd
let me
love
know.
to have you be a part of that.
And we could get that card throwing contest again at Don's 4. I think that it'll be so different this time. Yeah.
I love it. All right, Jim Carroll, good stuff, man. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad we did this. We got a break. It's 8:16 at WIBX. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Bill. I have to say, listening in your break there, I've forgotten how much I enjoy the election season in upstate New York, where every single judicial office known to man is up for re-election.
Oh, yeah.
And these judicial candidates can't really say anything about themselves other than that they're really good people.
Well, it's funny because we've had I felt there've been a couple of races where the judicial candidates kind of went at each other a little bit, and I've never seen that happen before, and it did happen.
They're usually the most boring political races in the world.
Yep.
On purpose. Yeah.
And the whole thing is, whenever you do a commercial for a judicial, it's always about we're going to bring out the family, we're going to bring out your positives.
Yeah.
There's really no attacking.
Can you even mention the other person's name? I wonder.
You can, and it was mentioned, if you remember, in a race. It was it
County Court,
Supreme Court, whatever it was. It was Arcuri and
county clerk
Bauer,
or county. It was a county court race.
Okay,
Yeah, Rob Bauer.
And that got a little bit heated, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have commercials here that are cartoonish. The direct mail pieces I've never seen. I mean, game show direct mail pieces. It's there's an alligator maybe being chased by Claudia Tenney. I don't know.
I think they were working in tandem. Actually, I did a little more thinking.
It's the swamp, right? And there's a woodchuck in the commercial. Right. It's really exciting.
That one kills me because it's Trump's whole thing was drain the swamp, and then this whole thing is Claudia.
Yeah, they're almost
making a swamp. Like what?
Right.
It's,
or that
it's just
she's
so
the
weird.
worst of the swamp. I
don't know.
Well, it's like this around the country, though, right?
No, you're right. I mean, you guys are getting inundated there. I spent a lot of time in Florida. I was in Florida all last week, and every other ad, Florida is an interesting state, too, because, like, you guys elect judges, which is kind of unique to New York State. Florida has statewide elected officials for basically the governor's entire cabinet. So there's people running for insurance commissioner and attorney general and chief financial officer. And
that's awful.
So,
have you been talking about? Have you been talking about on CNN our big county clerk's race here?
Yeah,
it's huge. I'm telling you. Listen, this will be a name you might remember from when working here. Dave Gordon is running against Sandy DePerno.
I do remember Dave Gordon. I believe Dave Gordon had a loose connection to me a long time ago. So, I know he's somebody that likes to run for office. So
now you're going to
hear that name.
Isn't it interesting? Even at CNN, they know. Oh yeah, that Dave Gordon. He likes to run for everything. and meanwhile, now I'm going to get him calling up complaining because you say he's a loose connection. That's really great. I can't believe you said that about him.
I meant that in a positive way.
Okay.
You said he has a loose connection to you, right?
Oh, that's what you said. I thought you said he has a loose connection. Sandy said the same thing about him.
When I ran for the state assembly as an independent candidate many moons ago, Dave Gordon supported my campaign. I will say that. That's what I'll say about that. Back when I was up for office. I'm not in that position any longer.
I want your assessment on the horrible job that the Democrats, in my opinion, have done with the Kavanaugh thing, and the amazing way that Republicans were able to salvage that and really energize their base. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong because maybe Kavanaugh has energized the other side as well. But beyond that, the amazing, and I don't give the president enough credit, and I think credit needs to be given here. He has been brilliant, like no other president, I think, during the midterms. He has been able to go back to campaign mode from 2016. We're now talking about people coming across our borders and attacking us, the immigration, the caravan. He's brought back the transgender issue. Oh, I don't know who leaked that to the New York Times. It is all of a sudden all those key issues that people were afraid of and helped him get elected that all of a sudden are coming back for the midterms. It's unbelievable, and it's completely by design by Donald Trump.
100%, Bill. But let's talk about Kavanaugh first, because I think that's separate from the wedge issues that you're talking about.
Yes.
Because I think the thing about Kavanaugh is that, and I really believe the difference between Kavanaugh being an issue that works for Democrats and one that works for Republicans is Susan Collins deciding to support him and him actually getting seated on the Supreme Court. Republicans in particular, supporters of Donald Trump in particular, like to win. So the fact that the president won that battle, and especially a battle like that where, there are a lot of Republicans that may not necessarily like all the things about Donald Trump, but love the fact that he appoints conservative justices, that made them very happy. And so I think that energized Republicans. It made them think that it doesn't matter how much Democrats hand-wring and whine about a certain issue. At the end of the day, we've got the votes, and we're in control, and we can still win these battles. So I think you're right. I think that has energized Republicans. I also think it allows some of these congressional candidates in marginal districts where they have an established identity of their own, and I think the congressional race where you guys are with Congresswoman Tenney, it allows voters to take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to look at this race independent of President Trump and give that a second look. Maybe I'm upset with Donald Trump, but regardless, this is my member of Congress, and I think he or she is doing a good job or bad job. So that's why I think Republicans have maybe inched back in a lot of these House races.
Which is also I'm sorry, Ryan.
No, let him finish his point.
Yeah. But then just to make to your broader point about wedge issues, and I agree with you 100%. I think that the president has played this perfectly in terms of ginning up his base in a fever. There's no doubt that those visual pictures of all of those migrants heading towards the American border, there's a certain sect of American people that view that as very threatening, and that is something that they're going to respond to. The transgender issue reminds me so much of the 2004 presidential election when same-sex marriage at that point, which was still not something that had broad support like it does now, scared a lot of Americans, and George W. Bush used that to his benefit in that election. These are things, these emotional issues are things that might drive someone to the polls when they normally would stay home. And so when you've got a good economy and then you've got this second level push of scaring people, essentially, I think that does play into the president's hand. Now, you can argue whether or not that's appropriate and ethical, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, Andrew.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, too, I mean, there's also in some races, they're really pushing this, as we saw with Eric Trump yesterday. Eric Trump even said, to voters that maybe this isn't your guy or girl on the ballot, remember, a vote for this person is a vote for my father.
And that's the commercial that is going on right now. There are several commercials that are really well done and talking about, no matter, I don't care what you think of Anthony Brindisi, he will have no choice but to be tied to Nancy Pelosi. And I think that does resonate with people that are on the fence right now if you lean to the right.
Well, here's the thing, Bill. I met with a group of guys from the National Republican Congressional Committee back in April when I was trying to get a sense of where these races lined up. And they looked at me, and my big question to them was, isn't President Trump such a drag on all your candidates in these marginal districts? And they said, yeah, you know what? We are reflective. We understand the reality of where President Trump's approval rating is. He goes, but what you guys are all missing is that Nancy Pelosi's disapproval is just as high as President Trump.
Yeah.
And in many of these districts, it's worse. And they told me back in April, they said, listen, we are going to beat Nancy Pelosi over the head with every single one of these congressional districts across the country. And you're 100% right. And if you are a conservative Republican, but you don't like Donald Trump, you also do not like Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
And if you are given a stark choice between Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi, many of these people are going to do the same thing they did in 2016 and hold their nose and vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah. But then it was Claudia, or it was Hillary Clinton that was the
right. Exactly.
Couldn't vote for
Hillary Clinton was Nancy Pelosi then. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the difference between the presidential election and what you guys are dealing with in 2016 is like this is now just about this congressional district. It's not about the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And the upstate congressional district's much different than the rest of the state. So maybe the Electoral College didn't go the way of the Republicans, but here you have a tangible way to have your voice heard. So I do think that they've been so effective in that. I mean, they've gotten to the point where almost every one of these young challengers in races across the country has been forced to say that they're not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi as the next speaker. But even under those circumstances, they are still able to effectively message that even if you don't vote for her, she's still going to be the speaker, and you're still going to have to do her bidding.
We had what's the guy we had on yesterday?
Sam Nunberg.
Sam Nunberg on yesterday, who was a consultant with the president. And his answer to that was, because I said, well, Brindisi said he will not vote for her. He's lying. He's lying. I'm telling you, he's lying. So how do you argue? How do you argue that? Right.
Well, and that is one of the. I mean, and that gets back to the president's overall strategy, which, again, when we talk about the ethics of it, is much different than its effectiveness.
Right.
It's no different than the president of the United States saying that there are Middle Eastern terrorists hidden in the middle of that migrant caravan. He has absolutely no proof or evidence to back up that claim. And even though there are journalists that are there witnessing it firsthand and say there isn't, he can just say they're lying, and his supporters will believe him. It's the same exact tactic.
And I got to tell you, the other thing is that the Democrats actually are funding this. They've sponsored it. Believe me, this is the last thing Democrats want right now. This is not good for them. And by the way, the New York Post has a story today that talks to the person who is responsible for this from Honduras, and it's a very interesting story. And it's kind of like the thing that happened when the kids put up on Facebook, there's a party, and they expected 20 kids, and all of a sudden 600
Project
showed.
X or whatever.
This is that same thing. This thing grew, and he never said he'd pay for people's expenses, but it was reported that way, and it's turned into something crazy. So. All right.
Well, and I guess I do think that just the last point of this bill is people need to be, look at this honestly.
Yeah.
It's not as if these people are hidden. They're not going to be able to stroll over the border. They're going to come up to a point where they're going to have to deal with a checkpoint, and they're going to have to go through the process. It's not as though these people are going to flood into the country willy-nilly. So I do think that it's being a little bit overstated.
Ryan Noble, CNN, we appreciate it as always. We'll do it again next week. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
And by the way, next week will be a week away from the midterms.